Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of It's Canon. We're your hosts. I'm Caitlin.
And I'm June. We don't make the rules, just the commentary. It's a canon event and we can't interfere.
Exactly. So today it's just going to be the two of us, but it's still going to be a fun episode because we will be discussing The Favorites by Layne Fargo, a book June and I read not too long ago and are still having a very visceral reaction to the book.
I would just like to preface it by saying that I wouldn't necessarily say that we read it. It was more so that Caitlin read it, and she kept sending me voice memos, and she was like, "I'm sick. This is so crazy. I don't know what's happening." And I was just like, you know what? Caitlin's never steered me wrong. If Caitlin says I should read it, I should read it. I bought the audiobook the same day she sent me a voice memo of her like crying.
I was ill. That book
And
made me
now,
so sick.
then I read it and I too was and still currently am ill.
Yeah, residual. I think it's like a long-term terminal. Not terminal. Let's just say chronic.
I
It's
think
chronic
chronic works,
illness.
but yeah, this falls into the theme of this is a side note. I recorded a video about my Love Y'all book haul finally, yes, like 2 days ago. And like half the books, I was just like, yep, these I either got the books because I met the authors, the book sounded interesting, or Caitlin told me to buy the book. And there was a surprising number of Caitlin told me to buy the book books.
So
And so this falls
scared.
into that category. Like I read the book as Caitlin told me to.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
But now they can finally go on your shelves.
Yeah, well, then I have to scan them into the Libby app, and then they can go on my shelves, yes.
Okay, fair. Before we dive into our discussion, as chaotic as it will be, I want to tell y'all a little bit about The Favorites by Layne Fargo. From the back of the book or the blurb, we have, she might not have a famous name, funding, or her family's support, but Katerina Shaw has always known that she was destined to become an Olympic skater. When she meets Heath Rocha, a lonely kid stuck in the foster care system, their instant connection makes them a formidable duo on the ice. Clinging to skating and each other to escape their turbulent lives, Kat and Heath go from childhood sweethearts to champion ice dancers, captivating the world with their scorching chemistry, rebellious style, and roller coaster relationship, until a shocking incident at the Olympic Games brings their partnership to a sudden end. As the 10-year anniversary of their final skate approaches, an unauthorized documentary reignites the public fascination with Shaw and Rocha, claiming to uncover the real story through interviews with their closest friends and fiercest rivals. Kat wants nothing to do with the documentary, but she can't stand the thought of someone else defining her legacy. So, after a decade of silence, she's telling her story. From their childhood tragedies that created her all-consuming bond with Heath to the clash of desires that tore them apart. Sensational rumors have haunted their every step for years, but the truth may be even more shocking than the headlines. So that's the blurb, but June and I are kind of gonna give our chaotic version of this book. This book was a hot mess express, but in a good way, but also a bad way. That's gonna make you scream, cry, throw up, and
Throw your
send
book
you
at the
to
wall.
throw your book into a wall and admit yourself for a grippy sock vacay. Cause what?
I'd say first and foremost, reading that blurb, I would just like to know who are supposed to be the close friends. They said they interviewed their close friends. Who?
Garrett Lynn.
I
The
wouldn't
only
necessarily
one.
call Garrett a friend.
I think he was the kindest soul. He did have good
Yeah,
intentions.
he was the nicest. I wouldn't necessarily call them friends. And he's the only one that you can quasi, and he doesn't even have friends. That's besides the point. I would like to preface this episode by saying that I did rate this book 5 stars. I
Yes,
rated
we'll
this book
just
5 stars. It was a phenomenally written and she executed the story so
yeah.
well. And I really felt like I was there with the characters. But I hated every single one of them.
The characters were written in the most I've said this about, Once Upon a Time in Dollywood, like, the fictional realism, like, you can tell that these characters and their traits and what they do and how they act, it shows all of the, like, bad traits, so you dislike them, but they were created to be disliked, and that's still a very human factor. Because I think with a lot of books in fiction, we get, like, the rose-tinted glasses and the la-di-da, and we learn from our ways, kumbaya, so on, so forth. That's not what Layne Fargo is doing with these characters in these books, like,
Oh.
you I will say, and I said this in my Goodreads review, they can never make me hate Katerina Shaw. I will never hate her. I think that she was dealt a terrible hand. A lot of these characters were, but I think she was so misguided and not by choice. I think the people who should have been guiding her and, carrying her through just did it. And so she had to work with her own street smarts and what she knew of the world and what she was learning from the world, and all she learned from the world was terrible things. So, like, I mean, I don't know. Anyways, they can never make me hate her.
I was gonna piggyback off of that. Initially reading the book, I did hate Katerina Shaw. I was just like, she kind of sucks, and I sent Caitlin several voice memos, and I was just
She
like,
did.
why is she acting like this? Like, she's really gonna drive these people away. It doesn't make any sense. She's being aggressive for no reason. She's really dramatic, and I stand by the fact that she is extremely dramatic. I would argue she is probably the most dramatic person in the book.
Ellis Dean.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Ellis
She's
was
the second she's the second most dramatic person in this book. But that being said, after reading the book, I realized how trying to find it, how insufferable and dumb Heath is. And so I now no longer hate her. I feel sympathy for her because if I had to be strapped to Heath for the last 20, 30, X or however many years, I
no,
too
for
would have
real.
acted and I too would have acted out. Yes. So
Yeah.
I can't blame her for anything as well.
Ugh. I will note there may be spoilers. There will be spoilers in this
There will be
episode.
spoilers.
So if you haven't read the favorites yet, um, read it and come back. But if you don't mind spoilers or you have read the favorites, keep listening. I guess we kind of covered some of our first impressions, but like, was there anything else you wanted to add to your immediate thoughts with the book? Like maybe the first half?
Um, I will say that Lane got me in the first half. Not even Lane. Lane had me the whole time. Like again, I was very, very much so invested in this book. Even though it took me a while to get through it, not because the book was bad, but because something out of pocket and left field would happen, and I would have to take a break. Like, I'd have to put the book down, and then, like, I just had to sit on it, and I
Yeah.
think the book took me, like, 3 weeks to read. I would sit through I'd sit with something for, like, 5, 6 days, and I'd be like, "Okay, I can get back into it now." And then I would listen until something else pissed me off, and it took me so long to get through the book, but, like, it was so good. But again,
Yeah.
Heath is the one that had me in the first half.
Okay.
Heath had me in the first half,
Yeah. 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 I
and
did.
ye
I had to field those texts. You would send them and you're like, why is she treating Heath like this? I'm like, oh, baby girl, just keep reading. But
I started to pick up on your patterns. Where if I say something and you don't, like, address it directly, or you're just like, "Oh, where are you at in the book?" or anything like that, I'm just like, "Okay, I'm onto something." That's why she's not responding.
it's like I can't say anything. I don't want to spoil it for you. No, yeah, you got me. I gotta
Yeah,
switch
because
it
I
up
was the whole
now.
time, I'm just like, "She's just
I'm j
treating Heath so bad," and Caitlin was just like, "You really have to think about how Kat grew up. You really have to give her some leeway. Who were her role models?" I was just like, "Okay, so he has to do something." He has
No,
to
but
do
also
something.
the same, but also true. Yeah, so this book is a, like, psychological drama, um,
It's not a romance. I went into it expecting it to be a romance. It is not a romance. Well, it
romance has a subplot. There I mean, yeah, like, we're exploring romance within the book, but it's not a romance,
it's not a romance
contemporary
that I
romance
would ever
book.
wish upon me or anybody that I cared about.
I thought you said you did have people you would
I said anybody that I cared about. People I
oh,
would wish this on my worst enemy, yes. Yes, I
that's
would.
okay. But yeah, we have sports romance, psychological drama, literary fiction aspects, women's fiction aspects. There's a lot going on within this book, but what I really liked, and I
Cheating,
think that okay, well,
in my opinion. In my humble opinion.
I yes,
A
that.
little bit of female rage.
Is going more for traditional
Oh,
genres.
oh, scratch what I said.
No, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Yeah, that's what you say.
Yeah, that makes sense. Wait,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense.
Nail on the head in the coffin? Wait, where
One
does
second.
coffin come in? Never mind. Anyways,
You have to nail the
um,
coffin shut.
or you did once upon a time, or do
Yeah,
they
actually, I was
still?
just like, "Actually, no, you don't." But yeah, you did used to.
Dot dot. Anyways, so this book, I think that's what gets a lot of readers hooked because of the psychological aspect. You're following this it's a cool setup because you have the main story and then you also have the documentary, and the documentary is written in transcript format. So we have the interviewees and then the producer who's off screen like asking the questions and they're responding to the questions, and that was set up so well. And if you listen to the audiobook, there are different voice actors
Mhm.
for the documentary version or side of the book, and that was super cool. But we get placed in chapter 1 already wanting to know what happened.
Yeah,
Because she's like, "Yeah, they wanna call me the murderess, they wanna do this," and then it flips to the documentary and it's like or a, what the use of multimedia within this book is really cool because they also use footage, and so it's, like, footage of Katerina Shaw and Heath Rocha evading paparazzi. He has a protective arm around her, but she's like, "I'm here to tell my story." And I'm like, "Wait, what actually happened? What
yeah.
is going on?" And I don't know if you knew this, June, but this book is a it's said to be a retelling of Wuthering Heights.
I read that in well, she put that in her author's note, I think, at the
Yeah,
end. So I was vaguely familiar with it, but I never read Wuthering Heights. So I was
but
just
it's
like, I don't know what that means to me, but okay.
I read it in maybe middle school. I just remember we were forced to watch like an old, not forced, okay, but yeah, an old adaptation of it with it was also kind of like a musical. I remember the song, but anyways, the characters in Wuthering Heights are Heathcliff and Catherine. So we have Heath Rocha and
Oh.
Katerina,
Yeah.
and if you don't know I there's not enough time to explain Wuthering Heights, but it actually literally that's kind of what happens in the book. Like Heath is a terrible man. Heathcliff is a terrible man as well, and lures in Catherine, but then goes off with like her cousin or like some other person for like involved. So yeah, if you've read Wuthering Heights and then you go into the favorites, then it's not too surprising with some of the choices, but how it gets unveiled is really cool, especially in the world of like ice dancing. I
Yeah, never heard of ice dancing until I read this book.
I was like, "I need to go watch more." Like, I know ice skating, figure skating, and I like,
So pretty.
yeah, figure skating, and then we have the partner skating, and you have ice dancing, and they're all different. I found a video that explained it all. I had no knowledge of any of this. But, I think it brought, like, a new light to a sport, um, that is so beautiful and also elusive in a sense. Like, if you are not in it, you don't really know what's going on.
True. I did not know what was going on a vast majority of the time.
But it was so good.
That's what I'm
Uh,
saying, like, she was talking about, "Oh, I executed a swivel." I don't know what a swivel is, but she was doing it
yeah,
and she was doing it well.
she going for gold. I guess just to kind of wrap up our first impressions, this book will get you hooked. I was hooked. This book will hook you from the beginning and keep you hooked, but it will also make you irate. There's so much going on within this story, and you also play a part because 'cause you're trying to discover kind of the ending. You almost start the beginning with the end, but you don't know all of the missing pieces to the puzzle, and so as you're reading, you're learning more about the characters, and I love the characters and how they were portrayed. Each character was very distinct and had their own voice and motives, and that was very clear, like, the way Layne Fargo wrote this, it was wow. Um, but yeah, the drama, the messiness, the toxicity, this book isn't meant for everyone, but I think if you can appreciate it for what it is, and you're just looking to feel and emote and I don't know,
A
have
vote
a
for emoting.
yeah, have a
After I
time.
finished it, I texted Caitlin, I said, "Are you busy? I need to call." And
Yes.
then she said, "Go ahead and call." I called Caitlin, we were on the phone for, like, 45 minutes, and it was
Yes.
just me it was just me ranting about everything that I had
Oh,
the whole story and everything and everybody and everything that they did that I hated, and I was just like again, 5 stars, phenomenal, phenomenal read.
exactly. There was so much going on. I guess so I would love to know, like, okay, what were some of your favorite parts from the book? And obviously your least favorite, that's gonna be the easiest, but let's save that for after. What were some of your favorite parts from the book and why?
I guess I will say my cat. Cat is my favorite part of the book just because I feel like, again, she was dealt a really bad hand.
Yeah.
That being said, she did make the absolute most of it, and not only did she make the most of it, she had the strength and determination to pull Heath along with her to the top of their field,
Yeah.
and then, again, after he threw hissy fit number 1. Well, I don't even know, that wasn't really hissy fit number 1, but after he threw big hissy fit number 1 and disappeared, she coulda let that be like, "Man, I'm just it's just this isn't for me," but she turned around with Garrett, and then she was the best of the best, like, I loved her sense of self-identity in the sense that when she
Yeah.
was 4, she said, "I am going to be an Olympic skater." And then she
Yeah.
made that happen. It was just I loved that. I did actually really, really love the multimedia aspect of it,
Yes.
and I love the fact that, like, every time I was just like, "Okay, this is the direction it's gonna go in." It kinda went in a complete opposite direction, and then it was just consistent drama, and it's like the multimedia led into the consistent drama because I'd be like, "Oh, okay, this happened." And then they would shift to, like, the interview format, and, Ellis Dean would be like, "Oh," well, he said, "Oh, and then this happened, but well, I can't talk about that until I talk about this next part." Or like Garrett was
Yes.
just like, "Yeah, but then we all know what happened next." And the whole time I'm just like, "Wait, what happened next?"
What happened
So
next?
I loved the multimedia thing. The only thing that I would say that I would have liked, since they did have a full cast for, like, the interviewees and whatnot, I would have liked a duet narration, but
Mm.
I'm okay. I like, again, the book was still 5 stars. That was just the audio production
Yeah.
wish, but the whole thing was it was phenomenally done. And honestly, I feel like this is one of the books that it's better to listen to it as an audio, because like, I'm getting
The
the
full
whole, like,
experience.
experience. Like, I'm getting, like, as if I was watching it on TV type of experience, and I feel like you can still capture that in a book, but it just doesn't hit the same.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Think some of my favorite parts, I really liked everything you said, obviously, but then also kind of what we said before, just learning more about the sport of ice dancing. And um my favorite actual part of the book was their first time at the Lynn Academy and being in this new world, because you think for a second you're like, okay, finally they're going to be coached the way they need to be coached, and they're going to be alongside other professional athletes and skaters, but also it's cutthroat, but then also they're ripped apart. They're used to like staying together in the same space and room forever, and now it's like boys dorm, girls dorm. So it's a whole new territory. It's almost
Mhm.
fish out of water, but in a space where Cat for sure excels, and
Yeah.
but Keith is reluctant. Like, I really actually like that portion of the book because it gave us more insight into true motives, because up until then, I think we assumed that Heath wanted this,
I
like,
didn't.
it like,
I
in a
could tell
sense.
from the get-go. I was just like, he just likes Katarina, and he's skating because he likes Katarina.
Well, I mean, we figure all that out when at the end of that first competition that they escaped to or ran off to by themselves, and she got injured and everything. But I don't know. I thought he at least semi wanted it.
Hmm.
But then it like was solidified further how much he all the quiet tells and things, and also having her disregard it as well and just brush it under the rug, like, "It's okay, whatever we win, he'll like it. He just needs to be there, he just needs to see it," and then he goes and sees it and hates it, and then disappears. That whole section was crazy, and then also the scenes where they're traveling and performing, and we have some semblance of found family, but we learn how
That is not a found family
fragile.
that I would ever wanna be a part of, but
It is
sure.
so fragile. But I did like that. Um And, um, yeah, I think that's it, because outside of that, everything else was tragic and scary. Like, every other competition after, I was like, "What is going on?" I too would have to take breaks. I was, like, actually getting sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
Like, every competition, someone's getting hurt, someone's getting decked, someone's concussed, someone's in the hospital. Why is there always
A
blood,
lot of
bruises in the
hospital time.
hospital?
Yeah.
But I get it, I guess. I was like, maybe that's the world of sport, but still. But what were some of your least favorite parts of the book?
I'm glad you asked, Caitlin. Let's get into it, right? So, my least favorite part of this book can be wrapped up in what, 5 words:
Okay.
Heath Rosha and Bella Lynn. Those 2 absolutely sucked.
Y yeah.
And again, I actually never liked Bella, like, from the start.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
I do think she ran into Cat on purpose, and I do think that, again, moving like, she's not a good friend. Even when they were in, like, their whole best friend era of
It
their
was so
relationship,
fake.
it was, and I still didn't like Bella. Like I said, Heath had me in the first half. Heath did have me in the first half, and then I realized how cowardly and dumb and weak and untrustworthy he is. Um, and I'm just confused because I wanted better. I wanted better for Cat.
Yeah.
I just feel like I, okay, okay. Chat. We're talking to the chat. Um, let's say me and Caitlin are besties. That's not a let's say. Me and Caitlin are besties. But in this situation, me and Caitlin are besties. Um, I am dating my childhood friend.
No, I'm already ill. Why am I Bella? Can we use a fictional can we use someone else?
Okay, okay, let's change it.
That already makes me sick.
Okay. Um, okay. Me and Nicole are besties. I'm dating my childhood friend. He's hot. Like, he's talented, he's obsessed with me. And I love him, and he loves me. And we do ice dancing because he wants to make me happy, and this is something that I love. We go through a whole competition. I'm competing against Nicole. We go through a whole competition. Um, and I decide, you know what? Me and Nicole, even though she did push me onto the ice and was overall acting like a dick, I decide we're still gonna be friends. And Bella decides that she's going to ask me if I want to, or not Bella, Nicole.
Nicole says,
Nicole says, "Hey, do you want to skate with my brother?" And I say, "I don't know." And then I say, "Well, I don't think that my boyfriend is necessarily the best at skating. That's it." I said, "He's not the best at skating." So what does my boyfriend do? Runs away. I don't see that man for 3 whole years.
because he overheard you saying that out of context.
Yes, all he heard was me saying that he's not the best skater out there, which is a factual statement, and he
Objectively true.
knows that it's a factual statement. But he gets in his feelings, he gets
Mhm.
butthurt,
Yeah.
and he disappears for 3 years.
No contact.
No contact. Never, like, after that conversation, I have not seen nor heard from my man. So, it's safe to say that we broke up. I still, in those 3 years, I said, "You know what? I'm still gonna compete, I'm still gonna do well." 3 years later, I go to practice and Nicole is skating with my ex. Like, how? They're both like, "Oh, we wanted to tell you." Then why didn't you? I
Yeah.
just feel like there was no excuse for that. Um, and then moving forward, like, we're both skating, we're both competing against each other, we're like trash talking each other, blah blah blah. I get hurt, go to the hospital. Suddenly we're back together because I got hurt. Then we move forward again, and I learned that my man, while he was away, was selling my secrets to the Russians. But like, it never really mattered because the Russians didn't do anything with that information anyway. But he sold my secrets to the Russians. Um, and so we have a big blowout. Um,
And you were told right before a competition by your
yeah,
bestie.
sorry, yes. And my bestie Nicole, who I've been competing with and who again is an overall snake and has been our entire relationship. She decides to show me the fact that my man sold my state secrets to the Russians 2 seconds before I take the ice.
Mhm.
Obviously, I'm pissed and we lose.
Yeah.
I confront her. I said, "Why would you do that right before I left?" Because I mean, why would you do that right before I left? You could have waited until after the competition where I had skated well, because I was this close to getting my gold medal. So I like, why would you do that? And then she goes away. She's crying. She goes away. I confront. I said, "Why would you tell my secrets?" He said, "I don't know." That's basically what he said. He had no reasonable explanation. He said, "I don't know. I just did it." And she said, "You know what? Why would you? No, I'm tired of carrying you," basically, is what
Yeah.
she said. Um, I leave to go dancing because y'all have both pissed me off. Nicole and my man have pissed me off. I come back after a few hours. You say, "Okay, I've cooled down." My snake of a best friend is sleeping with my man in my bed. Are you effing serious?
Not even man fiance.
Yeah, that was my fiance. Sorry. That was my man. That was my fiance. We loved each other. We went together real bad.
Did I take
Um,
off my ring and throw it against the wall and
that's
say I was
irrelevant.
done? Sure, but like
That's
it's
irrelevant. The same
within
within
4
hours,
hours?
you go and you sleep with my supposed bestie. Like,
Yeah.
that was traitorous in and of itself. Once again, I disappear. No one sees for me. Well, I don't see him and I don't hear from him for 3 years. Then through a series of events, I come back. Please tell me why Bestie Nicole is pregnant with my man's kid. They had ample. Sorry, I came back. I came back to the world of skating. I said, you know what? We can skate together again. Me and my man. Let's give us another shot. We can skate together again. And my bestie Nicole's just like, yeah. During those 3 years, we did sleep together once because Adele is just so sexy, and we just couldn't help ourselves
We went
because
to an Adele concert.
yeah, and it's just something about the way she said hello. It just really got my engines revving, and we just couldn't help ourselves.
It
But
was just
since
a
then,
release.
yeah, we just need a release, and since then, we haven't touched each other. We've been partners now for 6 or 7 months. I find out she's pregnant with my man's kid.
The math ain't mathin'.
I do the math in my head. I said, "Oh, so that one meeting that we all went to that you 2 snuck away from because you didn't wanna do some work, that's where y'all snuck away from. You didn't feel the need to tell me that you were still hooking up with my man behind like, I."
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's pregnant.
And at the end of the day, that's why Bella is your least favorite part of the book.
No, Heath is my least favorite part of the book. Bella is just a very close second because Heath
Oh, okay.
is, like, just overall Bella was who Bella was. Bella never claimed to be anything different. We knew who Bella was from the start. I knew what to expect from her from the rip. Heath is the one that I expected him to know better.
Yeah.
I expected him to not be dumb. I expected him to not be easily manipulated. And I was annoyed with him. I didn't like him, and then I had those 2 epilogues where we learn his thought processes, and I was just like, "This just makes everything significantly worse."
Yeah.
It just like,
It didn't aid in any way.
it did not help, like, the man just sucks. He's just easily manipulated. He's a coward. Every single time he's just like, "Oh, I did this because I wanted you to leave and I didn't like it, so I didn't have to do it." Or he blames her for things that like are equally his decision. Like I can't stand a weak man. I can't stand a weak man. And the first half I was just like, I just love how devoted he is. And the second half I was just like, he's devoted, but he like resents her for it.
Yeah, it's very conditional.
Yeah, and then he just starts being ugly acting, and it's just like, you can't yeah.
You can't
So,
do all
that's what I
that.
hated about it. I hated Heath number 1 and then Bella number 2. And again, Bella didn't do anything that I didn't expect her to do. It's just I'm more so mad that, like, they're supposed to be friends and you
Yeah.
still had a baby with my man who you were sleeping with behind my back after cheating on me at a competition that you purposely sabotaged me at. So I just like the whole thing. They just both suck.
Yeah. I'd have to agree. I think my least favorite part about the book is also part of why I wouldn't say I wouldn't say it contributes to me loving it, but it contributes to me having so many feelings. Like the roller coaster we get put on in this book, the ups and then the very downs and just the reveals and then all of it. So just when you think there's a light at the end of the tunnel and something good will happen, you get tossed into the depths of the Pacific Ocean. I couldn't think of an ocean.
Out of
I was
nowhere.
trying to decide between Atlantic or Pacific. No,
Pacific
you
work.
get tossed into the Bermuda Triangle, never to be
Oh,
found again.
that's even better. That is
It
that
was.
yeah. Because I feel like I'm getting hit from all angles. That's
you,
very accurate.
you're sick, you're ill, nothing's going right, and it's in the worst way possible. I don't know. For someone who's like a little bit of a hopeless romantic and like loves the happy things and the happy side and the bright side, this was insane. But I also needed that because it like made me feel something other than just sheer happiness, which sometimes you need that. But yeah, it was my least but also understandable least favorite part of the book. It made it what it is, and I wouldn't change it. I just hated There were times like,
I would've changed it.
I couldn't finish. I had to pause the book, and I was listening. I think it was their final, um, competition at the Olympics right before, and I already knew something was gonna happen, and, like, the anxiety I was feeling, I had to pause it. I was like, "We'll finish tomorrow. We'll finish this book tomorrow."
I
I was
didn't
so close to the finish line, but I couldn't. I was sick. I was already sick.
I didn't
I was
even
like, "I
know.
can't handle another thing happening."
I sent you a voice memo. I was just like, I feel like the only thing that would redeem
Yes.
is if
And I
they won a gold medal,
and I
but
was
I
like,
didn't have high
"What
hopes that
part are
they
you
would win
at?"
it. I'm telling you, I started picking up on your cues. I was just like, "Yeah, they're not gonna win. They're not gonna win this gold medal."
I couldn't 'cause I like, what can I
Yeah,
say to that?
and for me, I'm just all I'm saying is that I still would have had my gold medal, 'cause
Yeah.
I would have jumped the girl that set me up, and I would have taken it because
Would've been a
she
solo
cheated.
dance.
Yeah, yeah, they cheated, and so I too will cheat them out of their gold medal,
Yeah.
is my thought process. And then I would I would probably kneecap them, like, hit them in the
Like
knees with some baseball bat so they can't
like
skate again.
Nancy Kerrigan?
Yes.
Oh, wait, no, it was was she the one that did it or the other person?
Who?
It was Nancy Kerrigan versus
What are
one
you
of them
talking
hit them
about?
with a bat. Nancy, the ice skater, the figure skater who got
Someone actually got hit with a bat?
someone they were competing against each other, and one of them paid off someone to hit her in the knee with a baseball bat.
Similar, except I'm not paying anybody to do it. I want to do it myself.
Tonya Harding. Okay, yeah, yeah. So
Tanya
Nancy was the
Harding.
one who did it, who paid off the person. Yeah, 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 I
Wow.
think. I don't know. It was between the two of them, Nancy Kerrigan and Tonya Harding, and there there was a baseball bat to a knee involved, paid off. So,
That would have
and that
been
happened in the real world, real
and I
life.
that would have happened in the situation,
It's
except
not just a figure of speech.
I would have gone for both knees. That's the only thing I would have done it personally, and I would have gone for both knees. There's double a chance that she won't skate again.
Yeah. Um Well, I mean, we talked about what we loved about the book, what we didn't really like. We already said our ratings. I don't know if I did, but it was 5 stars for me. If I didn't say that when June said at the beginning, I really did rate this book very well. Um, there's no point to doing a Barker bite.
Yeah, I'm biting literally every single person. I'm biting
Oh,
every single person. Part of me was just like, maybe like a little bit of a bark for Heath, just because when Katarina was describing their sex life, she was just like, it's just so hot, so passionate, like, we can't get enough of each other, like, I can't, like, you we're clawing at each other. I was just like, yeah, but everything
yeah.
I hate a cheater. I hate a cheater. And I just would never be able to get over the fact that you had a kid with my ex best friend.
Yeah, that was yeah.
And I also, it's gonna be very controversial. I hate the kid. It's not the kid's fault, but I hate the kid because it's a representation of my man cheating on me behind my back. And oh, is it canon question?
What? Can you hate a child?
No. No.
What are you saying?
No, sorry, my brain went in, like, 2 different thought processes.
I was like, "'Cause what you're saying out loud." I don't
No.
know.
Yeah, no, so first, finishing that thought, I don't care about that child, I don't like that child, because that child wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for me in the grand scheme of things. Um, yeah.
Okay.
But my is it canon question was, oh, does the couple have to stay together for it to be a HEA, happily ever after?
Oh, um, in the sense of contemporary romance, yes, but in the sense of, like, literary fiction, no. But
Would
happily
you
ever afters are mostly for romance books, and that's mostly for the MMC and the FMC ending up together at the end.
would you
Happily ever after.
qualify this book as an
No.
HEA?
No. I think romance is a subplot, but it's not a romance book, so it's not required or, like, held to that stipulation of a happily ever after. Did think and that's with literary fiction. That like, literary fiction, it doesn't mean that everything sucks at the end and no one's together, but, like, they come to things are resolved. But I
Were
think in
they?
romance they resolved it in their worlds for them, but I'm talking about literary fiction as, like, the genre
Oh,
itself.
okay.
And that's where I think this work lies more in than it does that's what romance was such a subplot. I did not expect a happily ever after. I would have been pleasantly surprised. Um, but what was the actual question? Is it canon for HEAs to happen in romance books?
No, what is it canon that the couple has to stay together to be
Oh,
qualified as an HEA?
okay. Soft can. Oh no, it is canon. Yes, to be qualified as an HEA, I think. But we have different genres. You see, that's the thing. It's soft canon. It really depends on the genre you're talking about, I guess.
I'll go first of all, I would
There's
like to
also
say
Happy for Now. That's a new ending
yeah, I don't count
version.
those. I don't like those. Oh, no, I don't say I don't like those. I just don't count, like, it's I feel like it's either happily ever or it's not, and if it's, like, up to me, like, if it ends and I get to decide whether I feel like they're together or not, they're together in my head. But I'll say first and foremost, you have successfully now tricked me into reading a literary fiction book because, again,
Well,
I went into this thinking that it was a romance.
well, it has romance in it.
I wouldn't even again, this is not a romance that I would wish upon me or anybody that I cared about, but I'll say, like, an HEA for lit fic, like, I don't like, would you qualify this ending for the favorites as so just for the chat, they do end up together. The final chapter, he moves into her house like a bum. He moves into her house and they live next door to Bella and their love child. Um,
That sounds
and
like the
they
worst
are
scenario.
together, but they said over the course of the 10 years since their last Olympic disaster, they have been both off and on a lot over the last 10 years, but they never actually got married. She just wears her ring because what is a wedding except a piece of paper?
And also his child calls her aunt. That must be so messed up and confusing.
Yeah.
Anyways, um, in the context of this book, would I consider it an HEA? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
I will consider it a resolution. I don't see how I don't yeah, it's a resolve. I don't knowing that they were actually never really happy together ever, I don't
I
see it
wouldn't
as a
say
happy.
that. I think that there were periods where they were happy together, but, like, I would say Heath always loved Kat more than Kat loved Heath. And I will say that whereas Bella said that she
Yeah,
would always choose skating over her friendship with Kat, I do think that Kat would always choose skating over her relationship with Heath.
yeah.
But I would say that she was happy when she was skating and with Heath. Probably when they were doing, like, the beginning of their, All Around the America tour, whatever that thing was, their ice.
Oh, well, no, because then they kept saying, like, it became performative and their relationship was a
Yeah, towards the
show and
end. Towards the
yeah,
end, I feel like when they first started out, I feel
yeah,
like they
that
were happy.
first
Yeah.
it's so temporary, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely, it was temporary for 100%,
That was,
and
like,
I'm
1
pretty sure this
month.
was yeah.
And then it was, like, a farce.
I
I don't know.
personally qualify this as a horror book and not literary fiction because I just personally feel like it was not a happily ever after. This was a horrific ending to me.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't want to live in the same house as my cheating ex slash current boyfriend. I don't want to live next door to my snake of a ex best friend. I don't want to have their
And work
child
for
living next to
her.
me, their love child's living next to me. I don't wanna work for her. I don't want your kid calling me auntie. I like, there's just so many things that I felt like this is the like, you're actually I feel like I would be tortured. That would
Yeah,
be a torturous scenario for me. And
yeah.
so for me, weirdly enough, I feel like an HEA in this book is them not being together. I want Kat I want Kat to have gone on to get with somebody else, and that person helped her get a gold medal, and she's a multi-gold medal champion. And I want Heath to get beat up by Dimitri's
June.
I want Heath to have been beat up and on the run, from Dimitri and the Russians since he did betray them by not skating with Yelena. And they did have mob ties. So I want him constantly on the run and looking over his shoulder and never knowing a moment of peace. I want May to be
Stop, no, let's not talk about let's not bring
I
in
just
a
want her to
child.
be CPS. I want her to
St
be taken
no,
and
no.
then given to a nice family that actually knows what love is, because I
Okay.
don't think that Bella or Heath know what love is, and I want her to have a better opportunity, but, like, not in my face. And then I want Bella to I want a second documentary that documents not even documentary, that just shows how horrible of a person Bella is, and then I want her skating routines to be psychoanalyzed, like when she was competing with, whoever that guy was when Garrett left her and Heath left for those 3 years.
Mhm.
And they're like, "Yeah, she's doing horribly. It like no one expected this. This was like a really, really bad partnership." I want those videos to be circulated with any ice dance academy moving forward, and they analyze like this is what she did horribly and this is what you should not do. Learn from her mistakes, and like everybody whenever she's at a competition, they're just like, "Oh my goodness, you're that girl that did horribly at those competitions." And that's how she's known throughout the ice dancing community. I want Ellis Dean to be sued. Garrett's fine. I want Ellis Dean to be sued for defamation of character. And I want him to lose his website.
Kiss and
Lee's already
cry.
dead, so there's not really anything to happen there. Yeah, I want Francesca kneecapped.
Okay.
I feel like that would be my happily ever after.
Oh my
That would
god.
be my happily ever
Just a
after in this book.
laundry list of misfortunes for the people you did not
For
like in this
everybody
book.
except Kat. Kat's living she's doing her big one. She's a
Yeah.
multi-gold medal Olympic athlete. Which is Bella's dream, and I want it rubbed in her face. I want Kat's picture plastered everywhere.
On a Wheaties box and everything.
Yep.
Wow. Wow. I no notes. I have nothing more to contribute to that. I think you said it all.
I described the perfect ending for each of these characters' lives. Yes.
You should write a book.
I should!
No. That'd be so funny. Oh, alternate endings.
Yes. That can be its own side. side segment.
Oh, alternate endings for books. Oh yeah, we could do that. That would be fun. All right. Was there Oh, you know what? I will let you do the honors, June, and let us all know how we can secure the bag.
You're putting me on the spot. Okay.
Channel B, channel B.
Channel my inner bee. I have to do her justice. Thank you for joining us on another episode of It's Canon. Now that you've listened to our breakdown of the favorites by Layne Fargo, you can go to your couch, open your book, and start reading.
Like a good girl. I love it. No, that was good. And be sure to check us out on our social media platforms. We are on Instagram, TikTok, wherever you can stream your podcasts, and that is at It's Canon Pod. But yeah, definitely check us out. We have more to come. We have some fun games. Last quarter we did Battle of the Book Boyfriends. This quarter it's looking like we're gonna do a It's Canon Tell All hot takes episode, and we're excited. We were brainstorming some bookish hot takes to dive into. If there are any that you would like to see us talk about on the podcast, drop it below in the comments or send us a message on TikTok or Instagram. We'll definitely add that into the loop. Yeah, thanks for listening. And that's canon.
And that's canon.